some people believe that they can have dreams where they see into the future. I didn't necessarily believe them. I didn't really think about them until I had my dream, in which I was flying along, I'm flapping along just like a butterfly, being just pushed by the wind. And I got to a certain point and I just swooped down on what was like a monster. What it was these two figures wrapped around each other naked. And as I've looked, I see that it was my girlfriend and some bloke. And my girlfriend's just there, just laughing at me. She just kept laughing and laughing and laughing. So I've started to strangle her, and I've got her neck, and I'm just like, what? Like strangling her, and my fingers have gone straight through her neck, and I've started pulling out, I don't know what, veins or blood and guts, and I'm just pulling and pulling and pulling like a magician. Anyway, I woke up, and the dream was just really vivid, and I was a bit taken back by it, but it was just really vivid.
Since the beginning of time, people have had dreams so vivid they can't be forgotten. Then something happens in their waking lives so similar, it seems the dream has come true.
Now, a month later, I was on a bus in Battersea, and I don't really go to Battersea a lot. I don't know the area at all. But all of a sudden, the area was just so familiar. They were the images from my dream. Then I've looked out the window and I saw my girlfriend with another bloke. Whether this was a dream where I saw into the future, they call it precognitive dreams, I still don't know. It might have just been my subconscious playing tricks with me. I don't know.
Cav was so surprised by his experience that he put an advert on the internet asking for people to contact him if they also thought their dreams had come true.
Loads of people have contacted us and to tell us about their dreams which they believe are visions of the future. All manner of people as well, like from bankers to Buddhists. Some of them are a bit boring, like maybe they'd lose their keys. Some of them a bit more interesting, maybe a death in the family or something like that. At the moment, I don't know, I'm a bit sceptical about it.
One person who contacted Cav was an American who believes he has dreams which show the rise and fall of stocks and shares. What he offers in return for a little belief is a way of making lots of money.
It all began a couple of years ago when I started to wake up with information that wasn't just personal, it was about investments and the stock market and individual companies and projects and names, and that's how it all started. And it took me a few years to really believe that what was happening was true. The dreams are telling me what's going to happen with a certain investment. So I'm being shown what will happen, which is my future.
Stephen very kindly puts his dreams on the internet. He says if you'd followed his advice 94% of the time, you'd have made a fortune. The other 6% of the time, you'd have lost.
Most of them are literal, so they're very specific. I get specific names. Sometimes I get specific stock symbols and price information also. The dreams are definitely not coming from me because a lot of these dream stocks that I receive I've never heard of in my life. I've never heard of the stock symbol. I've never heard of the projects or the company names.
Does Stephen really receive information in his dreams which is unavailable in his waking life? Or is he just a gambler with a good way to justify his bets?
It comes from another dimension, which is not the physical dimension, which is where we're all at every night when we go to sleep. You definitely visit the same places that I go to every night. It just, you may not believe it, you may not be aware of it. When you wake up, you may have forgotten it. So you're going to the same places that I go, and we all go.
Who believes that you can do that? You can have a dream and see into the future.
I would say some wouldn't happen, some would.
Why?
At a kids' club where he works, Cav tells the children about such stories. For them, their innocence makes it all simple. For Cav, it's a little more confusing.
I reckon some people just make their dreams fit the reality. For example, an event might happen, they'll turn around and say, oh my God, I had a dream about that last week.
Even if they don't come true to you, you don't know they don't come true to other people.
Other people actually write their dreams down or tell a friend about it 2 weeks before the actual event happens. Now that might not be proof, but for me, that's pretty hard to dismiss.
The Reverend Russ Parker is an exorcist and therapist who believes dreams can come true, but as a professional, he is as concerned with the effects of having them as much as the reasons why.
I'm trying to account for how people seem to have this ability to dream of the future in vague or very precise ways, and therefore trying to say, is it a spiritual ability that they have which they can turn on at will?
David Scott would once have said definitely not, but one night had a dream so compelling he was thrown into deep confusion.
Within the dream, I was walking along platform 14. I noticed these two guys beyond the roof space, and they started to sway about. They fell down as if it was frozen in like shots from a camera. There was a massive blood, and the people were just basically dying in front of us.
For some people, precognitive dreams come very unwelcome into their lives and disturb them, and they'd rather not have them. And the bulk of precognitive dreams seem to be about death and disaster and, quite wild and dangerous things happening.
A few weeks after I had that really graphic dream, I was going to the railway station one day. From what I gathered, there was a guy just about, he was standing on this ledge on the North Bridge. And I stood here watching this event, and there were various police and others trying to lean across to talk him down. I think it was about 3:10 or so that he actually jumped.
David was deeply struck by how the real tragedy reflected his dream. The man jumped from exactly the same place. Photographs in newspapers went in the same sequence. And perhaps most importantly, the emotion he had felt both in the dream and in waking life was exactly the same. Profound horror mixed with curiosity.
After this dream, I've had more of an interest in looking at my own mortality and linking the dream to the reality. I was wondering, is it precognitive? And it could be just a chance occurrence, but whatever the situation is, it's become a thing of significance to me. All I know is that a dream and a reality have become linked forever with me.
David has accepted that maybe his dream was a prediction of the future, but ultimately, because it was a one-off occurrence, he suspects it was just a coincidence.
I don't think that all precognitive dreams can be labelled as a convenience or a coincidence. I think a lot of it, as a therapist I would say, they're the ones making the connection. But I think there are spiritual forces and powers and abilities out there which are real. I don't think they're fakes, and have real powers, but I would say are best left alone.
Well, I get loads of dreams, and they're about events that do happen. What happens is I dream, and I wake up, and I'm sort of tears rolling down my eyes because they're frightening me so much. It feels like I'm being possessed by something's in my body. From the archetypal demon possession to people who find that they are psychologically disturbed in such a way that they cannot manage. It needs to be acknowledged. I commend its hold and its power and its frightening presence to be broken over your life, Yvonne, right now.